Elon Musk just leaked terrifying hypersonic fighter jets against Russia. It's not surprising that there are so many crazy engineering feats that go into the construction of a fighter jet. And we all know how much training and skills need to be acquired before getting in the cockpit to take down enemy aircraft in the heat of battle. However, Tesla CEO Elon Musk is saying that all this will soon be a thing of the past, because as a tech icon, the man has something different than just fighter jets. But what is it exactly? Is it something that SpaceX is planning, or is he being scandalous like he often does? Welcome to Genius's Guide, your daily dose of geniusness. Elon Musk has a different perspective on fighter jets. He recently claimed that Lockheed Martin's F-35 Lightning II, the stealth jet considered to be the pinnacle of US military aviation, would have no chance if it were to face off against a drone that is remotely controlled by an individual. According to a tweet made by Lee Hudson, the Pentagon editor at Aviation Week at the United States Air Force's Air Warfare Symposium, Musk said there should be a competitor to the F-35 program. Musk also responded on Twitter with his own tweet saying that the competitor should be a drone fighter plane that's remote-controlled by a human, but with its maneuvers augmented by autonomy. He added the F-35 would have no chance against it. Since its inception, the F-35, which is used by the Air Force, Navy, and Marine Corps, has had its critics. Congress has scrutinized it because of the multiple delays in production and the price tag, which makes it the most expensive program in US history. According to CNBC, the Defense Department announced a $34 billion contract in October that includes the delivery of 478 F-35 jets. But as soon as it joined the fleet, problems started popping up. A recent report by the Defense Department's Director of Operational Test and Evaluation found 800 flaws in software and stated that the 25mm cannon on the Air Force's F-35A, the most common variant, showed an unacceptable level of accuracy. As a result of this low performance, the F-35 was unable to meet a 2019 branch-wide goal set by the former Defense Secretary, James Mattis. According to Mattis, 80% of all stealth aircraft, including F-35s, should be mission-capable. Musk delivered his remarks at a conference hosted by the Air Force, which included senior military officials as well as pilots. Speaking with Lieutenant General John Thompson, commander of Space and Missile Systems Center, Musk said, "Autonomous drone warfare is where it's at, and where the future will be." He added, "It's not what I want the future to be this. That's just what the future will be. The fighter jet era has passed." Yeah, the fighter jet era has passed. It's drones. Musk believes that the era of fighter jets is soon going to end and autonomous drones will take over the role that fighter jets used to enjoy. He said, "Drone warfare is where the future will be. It's not that I want the future to be, it's just this is what the future will be." And responding to a tweet from Lee Hudson, Musk said the competitor should be a drone fighter plane that's remote controlled by a human, but with its maneuvers augmented by autonomy. The F-35 would have no chance against it. And speaking to the audience, he also emphasized the need for authorities to seek new innovations, or else they would fall behind competitor nations. He added, "This is not something that was a risk in times past, but is a risk now. I have zero doubt that if the United States doesn't seek innovation in space, it will be second in space." Furthermore, he believes the Chinese economy will exceed that of the United States by at least 2 or maybe even 3 times. He stated, "A thing that will feel pretty strange is that the Chinese economy is probably going to be at least twice as big as the United States' economy, maybe 3 times. He further added, "The foundation of war is economics. If you have half the resources of the counterparty, then you better be real innovative. If you're not innovative, you're going to lose." The Chinese government's efforts in AI and autonomy are not news to the world. The development is being applied to facial recognition systems that are set up at various locations throughout the country. It has pledged $150 billion to become a world leader in AI by 2030. So drones surely have advantages. Musk said to Thompson, "Locally autonomous drone warfare is where it's at, where the future will be." He added, "It's not that I want the future to be this. That's just what the future will be. The fighter jet era has passed." Yeah, the fighter jet era has passed. It's drones. But listening to this, Holmes, an F-15 pilot, said, "As a fighter pilot, my job is not to fall in love with the aircraft I fly, but rather to use it to accomplish a mission. We are constantly looking for ways to optimize our lethality while minimizing risk." He added, "If there is a better way to accomplish a mission, then it is our duty to use it." While I agree with Elon Musk that the future is drone warfare, I think we are a lifetime away from seeing a fully autonomous air force. Unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, have fundamentally altered the way we train and fight. I've integrated with them extensively over my career and seen firsthand how valuable they are. In fact, the MQ-9B's persistence is unmatched. One recently flew for nearly 2 days without any refueling. They also carry a couple of sensors that are very impressive. As a result of the weight savings made, since a pilot does not have to be kept alive at all times, it is perhaps the most important, however, that they do not endanger the lives of people. It is extremely important to understand that these unmanned aerial vehicles are not autonomous. There is someone, usually half a world away, who controls every move the aircraft makes. As a result, they resemble a lot more like scaled-up radio-controlled aircraft than they are like robots. As we shift from limited conflicts like Afghanistan and Iraq to near-peer adversaries with high-end capabilities, it is becoming increasingly difficult to maintain the integrity of the signal. This means that these drones have to be autonomous, or make their own decisions, in order to replace manned fighters. However, as Elon Musk has learned, that making an autonomous vehicle is incredibly difficult. Even though Tesla's autopilot can navigate reasonably well on highways, they have a hard time in the city. There are so many edge cases involved in city driving that are hard to predict. This is usually caused by several random incidents in a row that occur 1 in 1,000 times at the same time and overwhelm the car's autonomous software. Remember, these cars are working in an environment that is highly regulated where the rules are clearly defined. Fighting is the most dynamic environment that can be imagined. When the fog and friction of war envelop the battlefield, it is impossible to grasp the true character of the situation. The enemy is also specifically targeting your weaknesses in order to take advantage of them. Tesla does not have to compete with state actors that are specifically fighting to make them crash. Imagine a city that looks more like the movie Mad Max, where there are adversaries who paint the street lines on telephone poles and shine lasers into the car's cameras. The cars wouldn't last a single block without being disabled. This is also the same for a drone that is autonomous. Not only does it need to be capable of making decisions on its own, but it must also be able to overcome an adversary who will specifically attack its weaknesses. This is where the human brain thrives, coming up with creative, dynamic solutions to problems that aren't clear in advance. Currently, the capabilities of manned and unmanned aircraft are so apart that neither will soon be replaced. The future lies in finding ways to integrate both as seamlessly as possible. Although some might disagree, drone warfare has its own set of advantages compared to conventional war methods. For example, the life of the pilot is safe. For a fighter pilot to get selected, he or she does not need to undergo extensive G-force training. And with less hardware like oxygen setup, emergency evac setup, etc., that's necessary with a human on a flight, so the aircraft can be designed with more mission-centric hardware to be successful on the battlefield. Anyway, what do you guys think about this? Tell us in the comments, and make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for us to provide you with more must-know developments in finance and technology. And we'll see you in the next one. Until then, peace!